So some of you have done it before. The way it works is you have a question, you have a challenge. So someone is being coached and someone is being a coach. Uh, the whole thing is not about doing it perfectly, but about learning something. So do it in whatever way you would do it, and I'll provide you feedback and you learn from that. We'll probably, I guess we have time for like 2 sessions, maybe around 10 minutes each. And depending on how it will go, I will either let you kind of coach for whole 10 minutes, or maybe we'll make a timeout, discuss something, I'll provide some feedback, and maybe we'll try it again. So it could be kind of stop and play, or just the whole thing in one go. Any questions?
Sounds good, yeah?
Okay. So in terms of your question, Rolf, about like how to engage into this work, it could be slightly out of scope because here it's mostly about the coaching skills. But if you want, we can have a separate conversation about that. Or let's see if we
Yeah,
have
I
time.
mean, someone could play the coach and ask me about this, so maybe we find something out.
Okay. Or yeah, or like this. So who's ready to be a coach?
I can try. We can discuss this engagement stuff. I'm not
Sure.
fully aware what you discussed because I joined a bit later, but maybe we can try.
Yeah, the content. Yeah, another thing which I didn't mention, the content is not that relevant, and don't put too much pressure on yourself to solve, kind of to be the right coach to help. So your purpose as a coach, the foremost purpose of you as a coach today is to learn, not to help the client. Sorry, client. So I'll mute myself and I'll observe. And if I notice something, I'm going to kind of show up and comment on that. And Parman, if you can also mute yourself and turn off the video, and we'll let the guys coach. So feel free to start.
Okay,
Hi,
Rolf.
Jaroslav.
Hello,
Hi.
Rolf. So what is your problem? Why you want to work with a coach?
I want to work as a coach. Yeah, because as I said, I do a lot of work as writing, and which is very lonely and very detached from people. And I want to do some work that is one-on-one with a person, personal, and coaching just fits very well to this. I like this analyzing stuff, and I can use my system thinking and help people directly. I like the elegance and the application of it.
Okay, so is your goal to have it during your work, or it's like more like a hobby? What is your
It would be work, and it would not it would not be like a part of the ghostwriting I do, but like a second kind of job or work or business.
Okay, well, sounds interesting. And how do you know that uh, you like happy with your with what you're doing as a coach? Like how do you know that you kind of start using your coaching skills?
Yeah, I have already a little bit of hint that would be interesting because I really like talking with people about the business that they want to start, and especially like when they want to start a job or make more money or start a business or have problems with it. I really like to help them investigate the issue that they are dealing with and trying to, like, I have in me this impatient that I want to help them. Okay, what is actually going on, and what would be the step that they need to take to actually get a little bit forward and create new situation and get over this struggle. And I'm doing this already with people, kind of. automatically because I just start with that. Maybe the only problem is that I don't get paid for it.
Okay, so do you want to be? So you already have kind of coaching experience, you right, and you kind of work in it, but is your goal to get more money or to get more coaching sessions or more to work more with people and to have more communication? What do you think about this?
Can we pause?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
What are you noticing, Yaroslav?
You mean you asking me what I'm thinking while you pause?
No, like what is happening in you right now? What are you thinking about? What are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm thinking I want to ask questions, but I ask super specific questions. I don't know how to ask broad question. You know, like I already get some information from Rolf, like um, that he want to get more money or get paid for, or and he already have some experience and working with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I know these two facts, and I'm kind of asking confirm these two facts. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to, um, you know, think out of box. What to ask something more, some like something that can help Rolf to solve his problem. You know, I kind
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah.
become mentor and try to search how can I
Mm.
help him.
So the thing that you are doing is you are trying to unilaterally find out what is going to be useful for Rolf. Like what question is going to be useful to him,
Yes,
or
yes.
or how can we make this conversation useful to him? And basically that's the question that you ask yourself, and your question is the answer to that question. What you can do
Mm.
instead is you can ask the same question to Rolf. You're working much harder than Rolf. Rolf is
Uh,
just relaxed. He sits calmly, and you're thinking. You're really working hard.
okay,
It
yeah.
should be the other way around. So, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
for example, if you don't know something, ask about that your coachee, your client. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I just it makes sense, but I still don't know what to ask. Like what to ask in a way that I can be more relaxed and Rolf can think how to solve this.
Hmm.
So maybe I didn't fully align what's the goal or like not specifically because kind of broad, right?
Mm-hmm. And
Maybe I need to
right
narrow
now,
it somehow.
yeah, right now you're saying the question. What is the goal? That's the question. And that question you can ask to Rolf rather than kind of asking yourself. Does
Okay.
does it make sense?
Yeah, let's try.
Imagine that, like, as if we are splitting your. So there's Yaroslav coach, and there's Yaroslav who observe Yaroslav coach and kind of tries to do him something. So just do those things with Rolf, not with Yaroslav coach. Kind of, I'm not sure what to call. Ask Rolf. I'm not sure how to help him. Ask him.
Mm.
And because of that, you will that way kind of by not asking those questions yourself
Mhm.
and asking him, it means you kind of not in a bad way, but kind of you put the pressure, you put the onus on him, not on yourself.
Okay, yeah, let's try.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so not asking yourself what to ask, but ask me what I need.
Yeah, so what is your goal? What do you want to achieve from this session?
Um, I want to get clarity on how I can turn my coaching, what I do, or something similar into an income stream so that I can either complement or replace my current work with ghostwriting.
Mm-hmm. So your goal is to replace your current work and to have more coaching sessions.
Almost. I want to be able to replace it, but I don't necessarily need to replace it. For me, it would be nice to just have both and then have the option not to do the ghostwriting because right now I'm very dependent on it. But if I could make money with coaching, then I have the option to decide, and then it's more relaxed to do the ghostwriting too. Because I can choose to do the ghostwriting and I can choose to do the coaching. But for this, I need to have the option of the coaching.
Okay, so you want to be kind of more free.
Yes, yeah. That's a big part of it. And more free and do more enjoyable work. And when I'm not free, I cannot choose to do the work, then it's not so enjoyable.
Okay. And what can you do tomorrow, for example, to kind of start doing something to achieve your goal?
I mean, yeah, this is turning what I enjoy doing with the coaching into an income stream.
Yeah, so for example, tomorrow, can you plan something for tomorrow to be to achieve your goal? Because your goal sounds like quite big, but you can plan something smaller, right?
When I break it down and like what would be a step I could do to get closer to turning coaching into an income.
Yes.
Yes, I'm sure there's something. I just don't really know what would be the ideal way or like the efficient way. I should find one or two. Oh, yeah, sorry. My Wi-Fi is my internet is not very fast, or it is fast but not very stable,
Yeah, I
apparently.
was interrupted a bit. I also have some background noise, so it's kind of I don't know if you hear it or no, but yeah, you can just take your time.
Oh, the background noise actually canceling works pretty good, so I don't hear any background noise from you.
Okay, so that's good. So yeah,
Yeah, so easily said, getting two clients.
getting to clients, So tomorrow for example, tomorrow, how you can do it?
I would reach out to people that I can help or like that need my coaching. So I have to define kind of what people I want to help and then try to find them online and write them. Is that how it goes?
Let's
Or
let's
maybe I
have
can get some advice from others how to
let's
do it
let's
best.
let's have another timeout.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yaroslav, what did you notice after the break? Was it
I'm
easier?
I'm a bit more relaxed, but I'm relaxed for asking questions because I don't ask how you mentioned myself. I ask
Mm-hmm.
now I kind of know that I need to ask Rolf, not myself. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I hear this background noise, and sometimes I am not sure if I hear correctly. So,
Mm-hmm.
but and in this moment, I'm not sure. Should I please repeat? I don't want to make this coaching session like asking Rolf, oh, please repeat. I didn't understand. I didn't hear you well. And it was like in the same time, and background noise and internet
Mm-hmm.
disruption. And so it was kind of strange feeling.
Yeah,
uh,
it's okay to ask to repeat,
yeah.
especially given that we are playing here. It's just like a learning session. But even in a real coaching session, right? Or even in a work meeting, what would you do? You will ask. So
Yeah.
it's also about the stance. Like, are we? Is it okay for us to be equal to kind of we don't want to burden them with kind of asking follow-up questions or whatever. So it's also like what kind of stance do we have? What allowed you to be more relaxed?
Sorry, could you please repeat what about for me to be more
What
relaxed?
what allowed you to be more relaxed?
Allowed me? Um, Probably accept that doesn't matter if I didn't hear, I can ask again. It's just um, I kind of I can allow myself to be more relaxed and don't take it seriously,
Uh-huh.
probably. And
Mm,
also, I now thinking like I'm curious. Uh, is it helpful for all of what we're doing? Like what I asked, probably. I also in the background thinking, is it helpful? I need some
mhm.
feedback.
No, stop, stop. Well, in a way, yes, but that's the thing that you can ask in a session. That's the same
Mhm.
kind of question that you're asking yourself rather than your client. And I'll stop here. So basically, that's the thing. I mean, it was just like 10 minutes or so, but even then, you can ask like, are we getting closer to what you need? Are we making some progress? Where are we?
Mhm. Yeah.
So basically, like almost turn yourself outside. Whatever is bothering you, ask that, and that's gonna be like better coaching than just considering those questions in your head.
Mhm.
What what's your biggest takeaway so far from what we did today?
Mm, Probably the biggest that instead of challenging myself, I need to challenge Koichi.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the biggest. And also, if I need feedback, yeah, I can ask Koichi and be more relaxed. Don't be like pretend that I'm super that I know what I'm asking, but more probably communicate and more align with coach in case I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Is that enough for today, or do you want some
Yeah,
some
it's enough
some
for me.
extra?
I think
Okay,
it's enough.
cool.
I
Yeah,
already need to reflect on this.
yeah. So what's great about having the recording, and that's partially why I'm doing it, is that you can observe what you're doing. So once I share it, you can see what you're doing when you ask the questions. You can see what you are doing, and you can see how Rolf responds to that. Because, for example, one of the questions, not last but the previous one, kind of made Rolf think. So you can observe like what questions he engaged more with and what questions he engaged less with.
Mhm.
So basically, from this recording, you can learn a lot about yourself. You can even kind of put it on pause and think like what I was thinking about when I was asking this question. So that's a
Okay.
great thing that you can do to reflect and learn.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. I will take a look for sure.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
So Who who wants to play next?
I would.
As a as a client or as a coach?
Um, Most, but I think being a coach is new to me and I'm ready to explore. So yeah,
Okay.
I defer
Yaroslav
to you on that.
Yaroslav would be willing to play a client. Not to play, be a client.
Okay, let's try.
Okay.
All right, shall we start?
Yes.
All right, Yaroslav. So what's it for today? Do you like to explore anything, get clarity on something?
Yeah, I have some things in mind. Give me a moment.
No
Um,
worries, take your time.
mhm.
It can
Trying
be
to
a
think about
challenge. Yeah.
about some real situations because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't want
sure.
to. Uh,
Any pending decision, challenges.
let's for example, yeah, I have a call. I need to discuss some important stuff, and I'm kind of uh, I can be scared and or feel uncomfortable, and because of some I don't know, background noise or some interruption or some I don't know uh, or some other stuff, or I'm not super prepared for the meeting. I don't feel relaxed and I can't speak what I uh, like. For example, it's some alignment, work alignment, or uh, some discussion with the client, and I can't, or with management or brainstorming, and I'm not fully in focus. But yeah, I want even in this situation, I want to be um kind of more accepting myself and feel more relaxed and speak more relaxed. So that's my.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. Do you want to think this out loud? Let's unpack it a little for me and for yourself. So, why this is posing a challenge for you and why this is important to be relaxed in the meetings. So, I want you to a little do a self-reflect on the situation. So, what makes it important for us to get clarity on? And, well, you can achieve your goal in today's session.
Yeah, why it's important. Just in general, I think I like feeling to be relaxed. I
Mhm.
think, uh, mm,
So
and
more
I think I'm
personal.
more personal, and I think I'm more efficient. I probably mm, I like to be looked like more relaxed, or I like this feeling. I want to control this better.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm accepting like that something go wrong and it's okay. Sometimes I try to kind of prevent to have a problem, and it's interesting. Maybe I'm kind of uh, don't like to accept that some things may go wrong, and I try uh, to be ready to fix them, uh, and that's why I'm not relaxed enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Uh,
And can I interrupt you? What do you think
Can
is
I can I
stopping
interrupt you
you?
for
Yeah, sure.
what did you notice so far?
Sorry, can you come again?
Yes. What did you notice so far from this 3 minutes?
Me or yourself?
You Parman.
Okay. I noticed that a problem definition is going deeper, and Yaroslav started to
Mm-hmm.
explore more aspects and start to get to the core of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Start thinking and
Uh-huh.
reflecting. Yeah.
What are you noticing about yourself?
Uh, at first, well, it was just a problem statement,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm getting to get more clear on the problem as I am engaging Yaroslav, and he is giving me more and more information that I can parse, and I can actually help him to discover more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what you were about to ask?
I was about to ask him what is actually stopping you from feeling relaxed, and I wanted to check
Mm-hmm.
if this is some external signals from his previous meetings.
Uh-huh.
Other people told him that he's not relaxed, or is this something that he was feeling from inside, so that we can go in that way. So if it's external, maybe we can unpack communications, and if it's internal, then well, other stuff.
So that's a strategy for him.
Yep.
One thing that can happen, and I think that's kind of the path that you were pursuing, is that typically it's either when they talk, it's either data processing or data transfer, and we can collect the details. So, and if we collect the details, we do something with them. And it sounds right now you were striving to collect the details so that you can nudge Yaroslav in a certain direction. And what's interesting is that because typically we don't know what is going to happen. You asked your first question, Parman, and Yaroslav already started processing data. So when you interrupted him, and you'll notice in the recording is that Yaroslav was thinking. And what's interesting is that sometimes they think not in the direction that we want them to think, but kind of it's their thinking, and we kind of help them by helping them thinking. So if they're thinking and they're very engaged in their thinking, more often than not, it's better to allow them to. And for example, what could be the sign that he was thinking? He was kind of, choosing the words. Typically, when there is kind of storytelling or telling the details, people just flow. It flows naturally. Basically, the memory is engaged. People just kind of provide the data from their memory. What was happening for Yaroslav, something new was happening. Like I think at some point he says something like, "Oh, it's interesting," meaning that probably something new was already showing up, and then we need to help them explore that. Like, oh, what was that? Or even like Yaroslav did in a previous segment, like where are we getting to? Kind of helping them reflect of how they moved, because sometimes we ask the question, and by the end of the question they would be in some different place, maybe even with a different problem, with a different challenge that they start. And sometimes we need to check in with them, like, where are we now? Rather than, continuing this strategy. I ask him this thing here. When he will reply, I will go like this and this. And sometimes we need to drop off that thing. Um, how does that sound to you, Parman?
Yeah, fair enough. And right on point.
Mm-hmm. I notice a few more things, but like I don't want to overwhelm. So curious, like, would you like me to provide them as well, or that's enough?
Yeah, sure. No, I'm open.
Um, so basically, you asked one question, or kind of it was like one thing, and there were several questions. I think 3, 4 questions, plus a bit of a, kind of syntactic fluff. So it's better to shorten them. Ideally, you ask one question, and in like sometimes it could be that we ask one question and then somewhat clarify it. So it's kind of still stays the same question. And the ones that you asked, and you'll have the recording, so you'll be able to hear yourself asking them. They were even slightly different. For example, why it's posing a challenge, what makes it important. So then it kind of, like if we have like this short-term memory, kind of we load too much for the client. And ideally, we make it as short as possible.
Yeah, thank you. Very insightful. Yeah.
Was there a question?
No.
No. Okay. And there was another thing that you tried Yaroslav too much. You tried to help him too much. At the beginning, like this phrase is no worries, take your time. It could be a challenge or any pending decision to make. So kind of you were kind of throwing him bones. And it was not needed because he was already thinking. But it seems like you wanted to help him a bit too much.
Yeah,
It's
a
not,
bit too
it's,
directing.
no, it's kind of, yes, which is not per se bad. But again, it's in coaching, what's relevant is partnership. And partnership sounds abstract, but a bit more concrete way to define it. Is it unilateral or is it bilateral? Like, did you agree with your client that he needs some prompts? Like, if for example, Yaroslav would be explicit and said, well, actually, I'm not sure what to think about. And you can ask, oh, so how should we go about finding it? And he said, well, maybe you can offer me some prompts. And then you can say, okay, so it could be some recent challenge or maybe some pending decision or something like this. Whereas what did you do is you assume that he's finding it difficult and he needs some prompts from you. And then you kind of
Yeah.
jump in to help. The intention there was kind of obviously to help him, but it was more of a kind of,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Would you like to try it again?
Me? I mean, you mean resuming the session?
You can resume, you can start over, whatever.
Um, as you suggest.
It's up to you.
Yourself, do you like to resume the session?
Yeah, let's resume.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, uh, I wanted to ask you what is that you think is stopping you from feeling relaxed in a session?
First thing in mind that background noise is still here, and my focus is switching. Like I can't focus, and then when I can't focus, I can't clearly say uh, like clearly explain my thoughts, and I think it's happening like during some meetings.
Mhm. I noticed a little shift in your level of relaxation in this current session. And before the timeout by Alex, you feel less relaxed. And I can feel it that right now you're more focused, making more eye contact. Am I right to assume that? Is that correct?
Yeah, and right now I don't hear ground mix,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was helpful, kind of also kind of insights that um, yeah, just about focus, like that. It's hard for me to say clearly if I interrupted by something.
Mhm. So, what else do you think contributed to this shift in your feelings?
Uh, Come again, please.
Yeah, sure. So what are other things, other reasons that makes you feel more relaxed right now in comparison to before the timeout? Did you identify anything?
Mm, what are other things? Interesting. Mm, okay, for sure. it's not noisy. Um, mm, maybe I stop thinking about mm, like I'm just fully focused on my thoughts. Uh, Maybe sometimes I thought that it's kind of new meeting or recording, or I can't maybe on some previous phrases, like when I try to explain something, I felt like I can't say it correctly, or when I ask something when I was in the role of the coach, uh, I was not sure if my sentence was as good enough, so or as clear enough, and I felt like, and I think when we start the session, I still processing that experience in new session, and I think after Alex's interruption, I kind of forgot about that part.
Yeah, fair enough. So, do you think that sometimes you are focusing on not feeling relaxed instead of focusing on the session or on the objectives? Do you think that would also be a reason?
Yeah, it can be, or focusing not to be relaxed, but focusing on something that was before, some activities that I did before. Uh, yeah.
Let's have another break.
Sure.
Um, did you notice, Parman, how Yaroslav was thinking? And did you notice the
Y-
dynamic between what you did and how he responded?
Yeah.
What did you learn from that?
Um, for me personally, to be more patient and let them discover and don't be quick to jump into conclusions or
Mm,
controlling, getting like in only audit only, listening only. And this worked much better in comparison to the first part, where
mhm,
I was more verbose and I was more interrupting. And yeah, I also really sensed him being more relaxed, which was
mhm.
somewhat of an achievement, in my
Uh-huh.
opinion. Yeah.
How did you come up with your last question?
The one that I said you're focusing on.
Uh-huh.
Well, from his description and explanation,
Mhm,
because he was constantly focusing on choosing the right word. And
mhm,
if that is not going to be informative enough or clear enough, instead of focusing on, maybe that was also a little bit too directive, but yeah, that's what I got from him explaining to me.
mhm. So that question was a close one. It was like, do you feel sometimes blah 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 blah? Do you think that's the case? Um, I mean, it's hard to kind of juggle everything, but typically what happens in a situation like this, when you did help them think and kind of slow down and stop and think, it's almost, metaphorically as if they kind of dive deep and something happens there, they think and they emerge. From there, different things can happen. But typically, what can be useful at that point is that ask them what did they find out when they were kind of beneath the surface. Um, kind of what kind of meaning do they make of that? What is their conclusion? What is their idea? What is their insight? So what did you notice? What did you learn? Rather than sometimes it's also useful, kind of, and your observation was useful about the shift in energy. So sometimes you can share that as well. But typically, when you notice kind of when they slow down, when they think for a long time, when there's long pauses, you can help them kind of to solidify that insight. So what was there?
Yeah, I got it. So somehow I was being the coachee trying to get clarity myself, not Yaroslav. Yeah, that was very insightful. Thank you.
And it's also a perfect illustration is that in both sessions, when we do those things, even imperfectly, we help a certain way kind of move our clients forward. It may be a small thing, but then we also can help them kind of conceptualize it or kind of think and even like sometimes even connect the dots. Like it sounds like you are here already. You started this and you are here right now. So what's your biggest takeaway per month from this experience?
Well, it was very exciting, and I feel I've discovered that uh, the joy of coaching, because this is literally my first time
Mm,
practicing coaching, and I feel this could also help me as a tool, as a strategy to help people to fulfill my agenda, as you already know. And being in the different shoes and trying to reflect on the coachee, on the client was very different. And so it's totally different role. And my biggest takeaway is a new perspective.
and same as I suggested to Yaroslav. You can go and observe yourself in the recording. You can listen to yourself asking questions. It sounds like it's natural for you to be a bit wordy, which is sometimes can interrupt the flow of the clients, especially when they kind of already, kind of thinking. Sometimes, like if gaining the momentum, if the cart is already moving, we just need to push it slightly. We don't need to kind of stand in the way and then push it, because then we kind of stop them and then we need to create the momentum again. To
Yeah,
kind of
fair enough.
what's the smallest intervention that they need at the moment.
Amazing.
Clau- Claudia, thanks. Claudia, I'm thinking, I'm curious whether you learned anything, when you notice anything useful for yourself.
Yeah, I can put myself in the shoes of the coach and ask myself what I'm asked now.
Mm.
And it was interesting to see what other people ask there, what I would ask.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is quite interesting.
Mm. Did you learn anything new about listening?
Yes, well, I think I learned something about myself,
Mm.
which is also very, very important. And is also related to, I think I learned a bit more how I listen.
Yeah. We have 8 minutes in our scheduled time, then I don't have anything scheduled afterwards, so if need, I can hang out a bit longer. What else do we want to do today? Any follow-up questions, maybe based on what already happened today?
Or maybe I can share the notes that I made, like what I learned,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that helps for. So what I learned was ask more what you ask yourself. So don't ask yourself the question, but more like, okay, if something comes up, you ask the coachee. That what I learned. Then we had again very interesting this that was interesting this point. So what is interesting, and then mark this milestone zone, and you had this explanation of the coach. He goes down to thinking, comes up again, and then okay, what did he find?
Yeah.
Then
It's also
Like short questions.
kind of a quick
Yeah.
response to that, because sometimes they can emerge in a place where we didn't kind of expected them. Kind of,
Mm.
we almost kind of set them on kind of swim somewhere, expecting that, well, probably they will answer that, and we're already waiting there, but they will kind of emerge in some different spots. So we need to be non-attached, and we need to be observant.
So it also helps us to not push them back into the other direction.
Yeah, yeah.
That would probably also be like what is important for me, especially what I noticed, to be patient with the outcome. Like at the beginning, I'd said like I have an impatient that I want to get them to, okay, what actually needs to be done. But it's for me like to give them space to be patient with the outcome. They have to formulate it themselves. I can't push them to it. But maybe, and you can correct me, where I can be impatient is with the direction. So when they trail maybe too much off, or there aren't too many directions that I can rein them in and like, okay, what direction do you actually want to go? What is actually the problem?
Hmm.
That I can be impatient in this area.
That, can you rephrase it?
So I want to obviously get them to a goal and to be successful and have an outcome.
Uh-huh.
But the outcome, I cannot like decide the outcome for them. I can only guide them there.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel I can be use this impatience to get them to an outcome, just to help them be clear and have the right directions that I rein them in.
Mm-hmm. So is it a question about how to use your impatience in coaching?
Yeah.
So one important distinction is like figuring out what's to work before doing the work. And sometimes the impatience could be because there is almost, you're not synchronized about what's happening right now. For example, they come to the session and they want to just share what happened. So they are sharing, but you, for example, thinking that we're already doing the work, and kind of they're sharing all the details and we need to get there. And kind of not having clarity, not being on the same page. So kind of what do we need to start with? A question like this, so that kind of you can synchronize. And then maybe you can understand, or maybe you can even have a specific agreement. I need to vent for 5 minutes, and then I say what was my request for today. So I think that's one way to address it. That could be slightly more requiring more courage, but kind of sharing your impatience. Like I'm noticing that I'm getting impatient as you're telling this and this and this. How does that sound to you? Because most likely what may happen is that what if all other people around them are impatient because that's what they're doing? So kind of you can offer them a window, because again, it depends on what kind of relationship you have, what's permitted, how much risk you can take, because not everyone is going to take that risk, but that's also one opportunity. Like I'm noticing that you've been talking for the last 10 minutes, which can happen, maybe sometimes even more. And I'm noticing that kind of I'm becoming impatient, and actually I'm not even sure that I remember all the details that you shared. What do you make of that?
Yeah.
And like
Or
if
maybe
you have enough trust, that could be an insightful comment.
or I could share why I'm impatient. Like I want you to have the most value out of our conversation, to go out here
Yeah.
happy that we met. And I would like to ask you what needs to happen for this in this conversation.
Yeah. I mean, something similar to that like happened in the session I had
Yeah.
before our call. Like someone was talking, like he was talking for maybe some 5 minutes or so. And I noticed that kind of it wasn't adding anything new that he didn't say before that. And I asked him like what he's noticing in himself. And then I shared what I'm noticing, because what I was noticing is that he was frustrated. And that was a bit eye-opening for him, like, oh. So, it was not the content of what he's saying, kind of, regurgitating again and again, same kind of things that he does. It was the first session with a new client. But like understanding, okay, I'm frustrated about those things. And then how can I express those frustrations? Or maybe even like, being a bit desperate that I don't have a possibility to express them right now. Becoming more aware of those things.
I like that. Yeah.
I know we're at time, so whoever needs to drop off, thanks for coming and hope it was useful to you. If you can stay and want to stay and have more questions, I'm happy to stay longer.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. I'm also leaving. I have to make lunch and
Sure.
get the rest thing done. Thank you very much. It was absolute pleasure, and I hope to come again.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.